Okay,
Hello, hello, hello. We are here for another episode of Empowered Presence. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Nickquolette Barrett, the Get Hired Strategist. Listen, if you're looking to make major moves in your career, it's time to change that mindset from employee to CEO of your career. And Nickquolette is the one to help you get there. She is the founder and CEO of iRock Development Solutions, DBA iRock Resumes, and she's also the president of Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches. She's a four-time certified executive coach, executive resume writer, article contributor, and member of the Newsweek Expert Forum. She is a dynamic speaker and hilarious. She's a trainer and she specializes in resumes, LinkedIn, interview prep, career development, and strategies. She's won two Career Industry Awards from Career Directors International and authored two books, You're Hired, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Her mission is simple. It's really to take career professionals from job applicant to job candidate, and she works to change your mindset from employee to CEO of your career. Her motto is land the job of your dreams and create a career that rocks. Let's go. Hey,
woo, woo, woo. Thank you, Miss Mel. And I'm so excited to be here. And I have to do an update, girl. I am now 5 times certified.
oh my goodness.
I got the passed the test of the professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. I skipped over the ACC, so I am now a PCC because I've been a coach for some time and I delayed taking my exam for over a year so I can get the 500 hours that I needed in order to get the PCC. So my next goal is master. Girl, that's 10,000 hours though. So there'll be about 10 years before I get that. But anyway, that's my next goal. So I am now 5 times certified. So
Wow.
I'm excited about that, opening up new doors for me. So
Love
I'm really
that.
excited.
Congratulations. You just
Thank
got
you,
killing the game. I talked about you being the CEO of your own personal brand. You
Yeah.
are walking the walk. So talk to us a little bit about this mindset that you talk about all the time about really sitting in that CEO seat when it comes to your career. Talk to us a little bit about that.
And it's so funny because when I was thinking about over the last almost 10 years I've been in business, come May, I'll be doing a big celebration about that. I started really reflecting. And what that really came out of is when I made the decision to direct my career in a different direction, because what I had noticed in corporate America, I had a lot of people directing it for me where I felt I had no control. Jump through this hoop, jump through that hoop, do this, do that. And I'm just doing what they're telling me to do. But I didn't really have a lot of buy-in for my own career. So therefore, it was basically gauged and directed by others who not all the time had my best interests at heart. And one of the things that I found is that people have their favorites. They just do. And although you're doing what they're telling you to do, they're basically making you jump through these hoops just to stave you off so they can put who they want in place. And so when I saw that, and when I went into my boss's office and I told her after going through this big old thing, we actually flew down to Florida. They flew us down to Florida to, go through this whole exercise to get promoted to the next level of leadership, did all of these things and stuff like that, and came back and they said, well, you need 18 to 36 months more of development. Mind you, I was probably one of the most experienced leaders down there. And I'm like, okay, I've already been in leadership for 15 years. I've gotten all of the certifications you need me to do, the CPCU, which is Chartered Property Casual Underwriting, the AIC Associates in Claims, and I got the CLU, the Chartered Life Underwriter certifications, which are major certifications in the insurance industry. I've done all of these things. And another thing was, you have to move to different operation centers. I've done all of that. Stood up. Girl, my list is long what I've done in corporate America. And you said I need 18 to 36 more months of development. Now, mind you, my boss wasn't the direct person to do that because she inherited me with it marked ready for senior level leadership. So she said, I just inherited you. They just told me this is what it was. And so when I talked to her and I said, well, what else do I need to develop? She couldn't really say anything. She said, really, Nickquolette, you got everything. Let's just learn this new role I was in over PIP NPC injury claims for Florida. And I keep pointing at you, Florida, because you're in Florida and I'm here in Texas. So that's it. And because she couldn't think of anything. After I left out of that office, and then one of the feedback came back was I needed to keep my voice in the room.
What does that mean?
Okay. I was trying to figure out different ways of how do I take that. Am I too black and too loud?
Ooh. Ooh.
Or did you mix me up with a young lady who was doing that? Because we look similar.
Oh my.
So it was two double-edged sword. It was basically just poking me. And so I asked my manager, who's known me even from Chicago. I just happened to start work for her here in Texas. So she said, well, I asked her, I said, have I ever done anything like that in your meetings? She said, no. I said, have I done that in any type of leadership environment? She said, no. I said, so what does that mean? She said, I have no idea. I've never observed you doing anything like that. And I said, After that, I pondered over for 2 weeks. At that point, I was in my business about a year, a little over a year, going on 2 years. I pondered. I went back to my meeting 2 weeks later because we have a one-on-one with our leadership. And I went in there and I told her, take me off that list. I don't want to be on a promotability list anymore. So she said, what's wrong? What's wrong? So she started panicking, started pushing everything aside because she thought I was about to quit. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to take my career in a different direction. I don't want to be on the promotability list anymore. And she said, okay. And then we went on, talked about my results. But that's when I walked out of her office, I became the CEO of my career because I took my own destiny in my hand, got tired of people putting labels, mixing me up because we all look alike. I'm sorry. Ooh. I don't mean to go down that road. We all look alike. And then I'm like, too loud. I'm like, what? I know how to act in a professional setting. Now, when y'all see me do this kind of stuff, and even on my own show, yeah, I'm crazy. And when I'm in the environment, I love to have fun. But when it comes down to the work, my manager, who was my manager at that time, she's like, no, I'm the ultimate professional. I know how to turn it on and off. I know how to act. When I walked out of there, that's when I became the CEO, and I started teaching everybody else. Become the CEO. You don't let nobody derail your career. You could take it any way I want. And my career trajectory became CEO of iRock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as iRock Resumes. I don't need your second line leadership because I am the head.
Ooh, so much. There's so much in that story to unpack.
Yeah.
So first, let's go back because in the beginning, you talked about how other people were making decisions for you and kind of like being in charge of your career. And so for the folks listening, what are some of the signs to make you recognize that's what's happening? And then how would you also recognize that they may not have your best interests at heart? Because a lot of times, especially if you're newer into the corporate world, you're just kind of figuring it out and you're trusting that people are telling you things or directing you in the right direction. But it's important to know what that looks like. So talk to me a little bit about how you recognize it and how other people can start to see and open their eyes to see, okay.
Yep. If you feel ready in your soul that you're ready for another opportunity and you keep getting it, but for that, listen for that. No, do this. Okay, just go ahead and do that. Okay, you need to do that. Now you're like, okay, but why? It's not making sense, but it sounds like busy work. Recognize that. Then do what I do not do what I did. Put your head down and do it and not pay attention to what's going on around you. Keep your head up and start to notice the patterns. Who's being promoted, who's being put in positions with less experience than you, less know-how than you, all of those kinds of things, and who are being pushed forward. And you get to see, oh, that's what's going on. So therefore, I have to now make the decision on what I'm going to do. And so when I said the best interest at heart, it's almost looking at, okay, they keep picking these other people. And I know I have the experience, the unction, the know-how, everything to push forward, but they're not choosing me. That I need to reassess, where am I in my career? What has happened? And they have to reflect and go back. When I started noticing all the different things that I did and they kept telling me I needed to do, I even went to corporate. I even lived in corporate. They said, you got to go live in at the corporate headquarters. You got to go do this. I mean, I've been everywhere. And then I'm like, I did everything y'all asked me to do over the 15 years of being in leadership. And I need a year and a half to 3 years to develop in a first line leadership role. Are you kidding me? I said, that's okay. I'll build a company from the ground up and show you. So don't put your head down. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and then create a strategy for your own self so you don't get caught up in everybody else's strategy.
I love that. And when we talk about just putting your head down and doing what they say, just do your work, just get it done, just mind your business. It's like that doesn't serve us. That doesn't serve us. You will get eaten alive if we don't stand up for ourselves and really. But it's also a point of knowing and understanding your value and your worth and what you do contribute to the organization, right? Because if they're still paying you every 2 weeks, baby, there is something of value that they're getting in exchange for that paycheck. I used to try to tell my clients this all the time. Oh no, you don't just go work and do your job. If you did, you wouldn't be valuable. There's something of value there. So understanding what that is, I think, may be a good first step to know, okay, wait a minute. Let me step back or reflect and take inventory.
Ooh, that's it, Mel. You said it. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Come on now. I kind of know what I'm talking about too now.
You are the brander. They need to be able to identify and take inventory and create that strategic brand. One of the things I tell a lot of my clients is that I stayed too long because I was trusting the process. I'll be with the organization I'm with now will be 30 years. The same same date, actually, I launched my business. I did it, and it's May 25th, and it's significant because that's my mom's birthday, who's gone on with the Lord now. So I started my first day at this organization on my mom's birthday. And then, so I launched my business on my mom's birthday as well, significant for that, but it'll be 30 years. And I stayed too long. And if I would have known, well, there was 2 reasons I stayed, but if I would have known that 20th year, all of the stuff that I could package up and take somewhere else as a CEO of my own career, I would have been probably at a much higher level at another organization based on what I learned at this Fortune 40 multi-billion-dollar organization. But because I was taken care of so well, because I have to I don't mean to speak ill of the organization, because baby, they have taken care of me. So anyway, they have been a great organization to work for, and very, people oriented, all of that kind of stuff. But it was just about me and my career. So I just want to make sure I let people understand it's about me and my career. So if I would have known that and been able to understand and take inventory and have someone available like you to brand me, to show me what I needed to do, that's external, not within your organization, because that's groupthink, which I got caught up in. Someone that's external who can show you a different lens of who you are. There's no way in the world I would have stayed. No way. Oh, are you doing that? Am I doing that?
No, you doing
that. They just celebrated what I just said.
How did you do that?
Bam. Yep. And the flip side of that, the reason I stayed now is because it became my angel investor. What I mean by that, as I build my business, I'm not the one to be quick. Oh, you got a really good business, just quit. I said, why? I didn't say I hated my job. I didn't say I didn't like the company I work for. I'm not in a toxic environment. All those things that will push you out. No, it's just that there was a choice that I didn't make for my own career. So therefore, I'm going to stay right here because I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I get the chance to coach every single day. I get a chance to do all of the things that I do in my business. I just don't sell insurance. So that's why it's not a conflict. And my company supports me because there's no conflict. So I said, so therefore they became my angel investor to take care of my bills as I build my business and save for my future. So when I retire, hopefully at the end of this year, I got a nice stash. I ain't got to worry about running back to a job because I got money in the bank.
I love that. And all
Yep.
because you took control. And I
Yep.
think the other part of taking control is kind of knowing where you want to go,
Yes.
right? Because if you're like, oh no, how do you even know if you're on the right track or not? If you don't know exactly where you want to be, where you want to go, where you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 20 years, right?
Yes.
So you got to kind of know. So when you decided, okay, I'm gonna be CEO of my own career, did you know back then? Like, did you have that clear vision?
I became to realize what I had in my hands. I said I could either continue this, making this my side hustle to get my fingernails and toenails done. That's what I started for. Oh, I'm getting money to get my pedicure and manicure because I was so CEO corporate ladder focused. So I just
Mm,
treated that as that. So when I said, oh, so therefore you want to keep me here to, keep my skills to help build in this area that I'm in, instead of me teaching my skills to other leaders so they can replicate what I'm teaching them, what I'm doing, my results, then therefore I'm gonna just take it in my hands to figure out what I need to do with this gift that the Lord has given me. The gift of
mm,
being able to relate to people, engage with people, connect with people, develop people, and also gave me the awesome skill of being able to write. And so therefore, what am I going to do with this? So I had to think about what can I do with this? And then I start putting my all of my energy that I would have put into going up the ladder at the organization into my own company. And I just want to piggyback off the thing that you said, did I even know? One of the things that I wished I would have really keyed in on is that the fact that I am strategic. My number one skill, disc, whatever, is strategy. I could have left and went and sought out roles where it would engage my strategic skills in corporate America. I'm a strategist. I can look at something big, and then in my head, I'm organizing it and putting it in where it needs to go. And all people got to do is execute. So I'm good at strategy. I didn't know that. And I didn't have other opportunities you can do to use that skill set. So identify what your strongest, your superpower skill set is, and then look for roles that fit that. Now, not necessarily by the name, but the tasks that are within the role, because every company has a different name for something. Because it's claim adjuster, claim representative, claim specialist, claims into it's all, but it's still claims. Everybody just says it differently. So think about what do you do and how you can do that role. It don't even have to be in the same industry. I could be a strategist anywhere. I could have went for the work for the government and work for a person who's running for office strategy. Oh, this is how you can get these votes. And just use my mindset to do that. So think about what is your superpower? What keeps coming up in all those personal and professional assessments? And I do have to say another thing. I was told by my leaders that I was strategic. I just thought I was organized and detail oriented. Like we women, we always think about these soft skills, right? I said, oh, I just ordinate. They said, no, you're very strategic, the way that you think and how you do things. And I'm like, oh, that was the first time. And I was 10 years into my role when they told me I was strategic. And that's when I started realizing, yeah, I am. Because, girl, in my job, and I'm just probably, I know this is recorded, I could do my job in less than a day because I'm so strategic. I look at that, so I say, oh, and I'm done. Then I'm like, okay, what y'all got for me? So
mm,
I know how to do my job like the back of my hand because of my strategic mindset. So therefore, having someone to be able to be your other eyes, to look at you from a different lens and tell you and show you what's possible, helps you get out of your funk of whatever job you're in, whatever it doesn't even have to be a bad job. Like I said, I mean, I love the company I work for. I wouldn't be here almost 30 years if I didn't, because it's a great company to work for. So, but it would gave me an opportunity to stretch my own personal skill set, something I was really good at. Although I was good at my day-to-day job, I could have been a strategist somewhere. So being able to recognize that and take that and see what other roles are, but you need help to be able to do that. I didn't have that.
yeah, you know what I love about what you said
Mhm.
was you could have took it and went anywhere because your brand transcends that job. Your
Mhm.
brand is not, people tie themselves to their job titles, to their
Ooh.
companies, and it's like it's a part of now their identity. Mm.
Mm-mm. This is
I beg to
where you get
differ.
your skills and your experience from. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone, and you evolve, and that job is temporary. Every
Yep.
job is
Mm-hmm.
temporary. And
Mm-hmm.
so I like to talk about it in the sense of who are you beyond the 9 to 5,
Oh,
right? Because outside, when you walk into the building,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're so right. When you actually are understanding who you are, oh my gosh, it opens up so much. I tell people all the time, don't become the company and don't become your title. Who are you apart from that? Because if that job was to go away, you're going to have to stand up for who you are individually. And that goes back to being a CEO of your career. I tell my clients all the time, I need you to have a PR department. I need you to have a financial department. I need you to have your marketing department, and I need you to have your public relations and your networking department. All those things you need to have to be the CEO of your career. What are you doing in those areas? What are your finances like? How are you going to market and brand yourself? Who's going to be your public relations person to put you out there and speak about you when you're not in the room, even if the room is at a different company? So you need to have all of those different departments working in your favor. Also, oh yeah, and the operations, your operations department. How are you going to do this? How are you going to implement this strategy? So these are the things that we need to think about as an individual, no matter if we are in corporate America or we're having our doing our own business 100% of the time. You have to walk as that entity. And if you don't, you'll be lost. And I don't want my clients to be lost. And I'm telling you all in the audience, don't be lost in that. Pull yourself away. I'm going to give you an example of someone I talked to who did retire from the organization, and I've been working with her and developing her business. And one of the things that she's doing is, since she's so new, she's doing volunteer for the type of role things that she wants to do. And I found when I'm hearing her story, being, kind of like, I don't know if I should be doing this. I said, this is what you're doing because you're so used to working for an organization for so many years. And you identify with that organization. Now that you're retired, and you're working for these other organizations, you're doing the same thing. You're becoming them. And she said, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it. I said, yeah. I said, what you're doing is working with them as a volunteer to get the experience so you can build your own portfolio for your own business. I said, I need you to pull yourself back out of that and make sure you understand you're a volunteer for that organization, but you still represent you and your own company. I said, because you're just going back to what you used to do for so many years at the organization that you're working for. So that's what it's all about. How do you pull yourself out? Understand who you are as a brand. It starts with taking that inventory, taking a personal assessment, seeing what the commonality is, the thread is, and then determining, okay, out of these, what do I want to do? I didn't even realize that there was a job that just dealt with strategy. I would have probably been, I would have been just so excited just doing that alone. So therefore, what is it that you want to do? And then a second thing, if it's not the number one thing you want to do, what is that second thing that you're want to do? Like what is it called? The strength finders. Taking that assessment, they give you 5 different strengths. Which one is most relevant that you want to pursue? Is it within your organization you're working for? Or is it an organization outside of that? Or, as I always tell a lot of especially my senior leaders that I work with, I tell them, I say, okay, if you're in a toxic environment and you don't want to work for nobody else, how can you turn it into your own business? I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So I'm thinking about how can you turn it into your own business? So therefore, there's so many different ways that you can do it. And I always tell people, take all that you can at that organization that you're working in to learn how to develop yourself even further for your own entity. For your own entity. And that's what I really, really want people to really come away with this information. And it looks like that I did lose Mel, so I'm going to continue talking. Let me think of something else. Okay, so one of the things also, when if you are a owner of a side business, side gig, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, and you are working at your organization, here's what I really want you to think about while you're there. Instead of trying to rush out to do your business 100% of the time, I want you to think about how much, if I have a salary, can I save my salary in the bank before I make that leap? I've had to do resumes for people who've tried their hand at their own business and needed to get back in corporate America because they're not making the money. It's that fear of not being able to pay their bills. So always coach too, before you make that leap, put in the bank your salary if you can. And if you can put your salary in there, at least save 75%. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to save 3 to 6 months. No, I just had a discussion with a director at the organization I work with, and we went through the ICF coaching and stuff. And he said, I told my wife the same thing. It's not just about having 6 months. I need more than that. Say, yes, you do. I said, sir, save your salary and tell your wife I'll talk to her if you need me to. And he started cracking up. He said, I'm gonna tell him to call you. I'm like, yeah. I said, because you want to have more than just that 6 months in the bank, because business is cyclical. And if you're new in it, you have to understand when the cycles are for your business. And having that financial undergirding for yourself won't make you run back to corporate America. So save that money, more than that 3 to 6 months, save that money in the bank. And then the last thing I would tell you, learn everything you can from that organization so you can take those learnings to your business. One of the things that I did, yeah, a year or more, Latricia, that's what I'm talking about. One of the things I tell people, I said, my company is a mini replica of the company I get the privilege to work for. Everything I learned from that organization, I have channeled it down to my organization. When the word strategic priorities, vision, mission, all that stuff, I got it from the organization that I work for. So therefore, take those learnings and create your own organization based on that operations, strategies, automation, all of those things. I just transferred it and put it in my own business. And so now I have a many, not the money, but I'm going to say a mini multi-billion-dollar organization that's in iRock.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for holding it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
You kept talking. I said, I lost time, but keep talking, y'all.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, because we throwing this word around CEO, but can we break that down? Like, what is the job of a CEO? What should you be doing when it comes to stepping into that role, when it comes to like your career?
You should understand for your personal self, and I kind of ran through this. You need to understand, what is your financial department? What are your own personal finances? What are your personal financial goals? How are you managing your personal finance? So you should have your eye on that, right? Then you should have your eye on your operations. How are you implementing what you want to do? How are your operations? Are they janky, or do you have things that's working in your favor so that you could do your actual job, right? Do it right. How are your operations ongoing? Then what about your public relations department? Who's speaking on your behalf in the organization when you're not in the room? Who is speaking on your behalf? So you need your public relations, and then your branding. How are you showing up? Not only as far as your resume, internal resume, because they have things where you put your own info. Well, at least the organization I have, and you can update and put all your stuff that you want to do, and put a snippet, your summary, all your internal resume, and all that kind of stuff. Your LinkedIn branding, all of your actual branding. But then how do you show up at the job as well? Just because they say you're casual, do you still show up looking like I'm speaking from a leader because I've been in leadership for so long. You show up like your employees with a baseball hat on and jeans and a t-shirt. Now that could be Friday when we have branded day for the company you work for day that you wear that stuff. I don't even do that. Anyway, so I'm just telling you my thing. I ain't showing up in that. No. Anyway, but so therefore, how are you showing up? Are you looking the part, even though because you're interviewing every single day? So I want you to make sure that your hair is done. Even with the men, make sure your hair is cut and trimmed. Make sure you're presenting yourself when you go around those people, because I'm sorry, the way you present yourself, the way you look is still being judged. So you got to get all of those things together to show up as your brand. And that's what a true deal about a CEO, because most CEOs you see and I'm speaking of the corporate America, you're going to see them dressed to the nines, presenting themselves and all that kind of stuff. Not always in a suit and tie, but a blazer, maybe something nice, even if they have some really nice jeans on with the shoes. But how are you presenting yourself? What is even coming out of your mouth? How do you even talk about yourself? CEOs speak from a high level. So you got to think about all of those departments on how you're going to present yourself so that you can move yourself through your career and stand up. When you go before anyone or in another organization, you can present yourself as I'm progressive minded. I'm thinking growth minded. I'm thinking strategic. That's what CEOs do.
I love that. I love that. You know what else CEOs do is they
Mhm.
hire help.
Oh,
So
girl.
talk to us about that, how that translates
Yeah.
over into, again, being the CEO of your own career.
Most current and aspiring senior leaders, in which I speak to all the time, and CEOs, they don't mind dropping that money.
Hmm.
They know the value and the return on the investment in their skill set. Too many people think, oh, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Well, if you asking for a job that pay you $200,000 and you at 150, where's the disconnect? So I've even had people, well, I can go buy me a purse, but that purse gonna be outdated in 3 months. So what are you doing to really invest in yourself to get the return on your investment? So the majority of the people out here are not willing to invest. If you are CEO minded, you will. You will. I don't. When I talk to CEO minded career professionals, they are not kicking the tires. They drop their money so quick. They like, okay, I know you can help me get to that next level and faster. Because here, what I hear all the time, I don't have time, but you're going to help me get there. That's what it is. So if you're not ready to drop the invest in yourself out of your pocket, some companies will pay for it for you. So ask your company. But if you're not willing to do that, then you're not CEO minded. You're not
Mm,
ready. You're not ready.
love
Mhm.
that. I love that
Mhm.
so much. But it's like, how do you get ready? Right? Especially if you're coming from an employee mindset. It's a whole shift. So, like, how can you start to see things differently?
One of the things that people have the opportunity, if you are an employee and you're getting a paycheck, just like I talked about saving those people who want to have a side hustle and eventually launch out to full time, save your money. If you're serious, maybe you can't do it in one paycheck or two paychecks. But if you're serious about where you're going to go, continue to develop yourself with the tools that are in your possession, in your company. And LinkedIn has a whole bunch of stuff that you can develop in. But put your money aside. There's only so much you can get from a podcast like this or YouTube or anywhere else. But when you have someone one on one working with you, or even a group setting with other like minded individuals, then you will see yourself starting to go to the next level. One of the things I started doing as a new business owner, I started first of all going everything free that I could, learned everything free that I could, but it only got me so far. Then I said, okay, so now I'm going to have to invest in a coach. I invested in the coach. So my coach is she if she's out there watching, she'll probably laugh. Every time I made a sale was her money. It wasn't for me. It was to pay her bill. I said, I'll sell resumes just so I can talk to you. So, I mean, I for 2.5 years, I worked for her, and my majority of my money went to her because I was growing and doing all the things I needed to do to be able to get to the next level. And that was in a group setting, and that was a lot of money for me. And now it's like, oh, I just last before I had my major fall. I dropped a good amount of money on somebody to work with me for only 8 weeks to develop something I was working on. And I did it without a bat of an eye because I knew the return on investment. And then I'm very strategic. I said, okay, that costs that much, but if I do X, Y, Z, I'll get that money back in 3 sales. I said, okay, let's go. She said, you ready? I said, see, send me that thing. I paid it right when we were talking on the camera. But you know where it's going to lead you. But once you get that taste of investing in yourself, you'll never go back because you'll see the return on your investment. Save your
Mm,
money if you have to. For those who are not ready yet, save your money. And you give some companies give you bonuses. Stop going out and buy big TVs and all that kind of crap and the shoes with the red on the bottom. Stop doing all of that. No. Oh, you don't need that. Even if you are a CEO, you don't need those on. So, do what you want with your money. But I'm just saying, really invest in yourself. I would invest in me first to get the income and money I need. So when I go and buy those shoes, it's a drop in a bucket because I got the money to do it. I tell people, I say, okay, so you'd rather go buy a purse instead of investing in yourself to get more money so you can buy more purses? I don't
Right.
understand. That's like it's like that disconnect, but I know that they're not my client and they're not ready. So I'm like, but I still keep myself open. So when you're ready, I'll always be here. Just when you get ready, you get your mindset ready, then I'm here ready for you. And Mel is too.
That's right.
Mhm. Yep.
I love that. I love that. And I totally get it because some people are truly just not, they're not there yet.
Yeah.
They're
And
not
that's
there
okay.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that's okay. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone in their own time
Mm-hmm.
with their own journey, right? And so I'm
Yep.
loving this conversation, Nicolette. You dropping
Mm-hmm.
so many gems. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about because when we kind of talked before,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned how you started changing the narrative
Yeah.
around who you were as you maneuvered around the workplace. Can you tell me how you went about doing that and maybe even disclose what the narrative was and what the new narrative turned into?
Yeah. Oh, I love being able to do that. One of the things I started noticing is that when part of the people having control of my career will say things about me. Now, this is going to seem funny, but one of the things that a senior leader told me, she said, "Well, girl, you're just too cute. I don't want to be cute in the workplace. I don't want to be seen as some kind of cute little short dial. Because yeah, I'm only a little over 5 feet. I don't want to be cute. And I don't want to be known as something less than my strong skills. So guess what I started doing? I started talking about who I was. Oh yeah, I'm very good at strategy. I'm very strategic minded. And the more I kept saying those strong skills, people say, "Yeah, go to Nickquolette. She's very strategic." Or go to Nickquolette. She can organize that and be able to do that in a heartbeat. So I start saying the words about myself to put it in the atmosphere so they start recognizing me for that. Now, here's the funny thing about it. Although I was doing it heavily in the workplace where people will start recognizing that for me, I was starting to learn it for the business, but it wasn't until my client, because I would always say I'm very good at strategy. I would say that as far as helping people with their, career trajectory. He said, "You're really the get hired strategist." I said, "What?" So he named me that. So I took it and I read, "Sam, are you out there?" So when it was like, "What?" I said, "I didn't even think about that." He said, "Yeah, because everything you did for me, you really got me hired. It's all about the strategy." And I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't think about that because I'm looking at not just doing a resume and all that kind of stuff, mindset change, shifting. It's about what is the strategy to get you to your end goal. So you have to put in the mouth of those what you want of those that involved with in corporate America, what you want them to say about you. But you have to start verbalizing it for yourself.
Oh my gosh. So I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
is a struggle for a lot of us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Us, women of color, Black women, because we don't want to be too much. We don't
Yeah.
want to be too boisterous. We don't want to
Mm-hmm.
come off arrogant.
Yeah.
We got to stay humble. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like when I was heavy into writing resumes, I used to tell them, this is not the place for you to be humble. I'm here to
Mm-hmm.
sell you on a word
Yeah.
doc. So we're gonna talk all of it up. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
highlight all the things. And it's like once they recognize, first of all, I don't think a lot of people recognize what their strengths are, what their value is, what their uniqueness is up
No.
in their minds. They don't even see it. Similar to how you didn't see it for like 10 years. Somebody
No.
had to tell you first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you figure that out, it's that's great. Now you know,
Mm-hmm.
but now who else knows?
Yep.
You got to spread the word.
Yeah, you got to say it. And I'm gonna put a drop of plug in there in here because I'll be having this young lady on my podcast coming up. It's a book out there called Bragg, and her name is Lisa Bragg, Bragg. It's so funny, and she wrote a book about Bragg. And as much as I have learned about being able to advocate for myself when others wouldn't, or say the things I wanted them to say, I started to make sure, and it's a way of bragging, but not brag. It's a play on words, but you got to read the book. But it's about how do you position yourself so others recognize your gifts and your strengths once you recognize them. And so therefore you have to put in the mouths. And even a senior VP on the marketing side, I will always be selected to go through to the Women of Power with the Who's Host about Black Enterprise every single year. She said, no, I need Nickquolette because she's very good at strategizing and pulling all these things together. So I will always do it. And so she will say it in front of a group of senior leaders all the time. But you have to make sure that you're understanding who you are and then making sure people know what you do and showcase it with the skill set. And then they'll start carrying that word for you. So you don't have to work so hard, but you got to know who you are to be able to do that.
Yes. Oh, that right there. You gotta know who you are. I think that's really the anchor of the work that I do now with personal branding.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have identity issues.
Yeah.
They're not quite sure who they are. They put on a show for work, you know, and they're miserable inside because they're acting all day. That's tiring and exhausting. So when it's time to talk about yourself, are you talking about this persona or are you talking about the real you?
Yeah, and that's so wonderful because when you get to know who you are and you own who you are, you can walk in it so much better. But it's also so refreshing for you to say that, because when I was jumping through all the hoops and doing everything everybody asked me, I was playing someone else. But when I walked out of my manager's office and pulling myself off of that promotability list, I mean, I felt like a big weight lifted. And then I came into my own even more so. And so that's what it will do for you. Once you actually take that ownership of who you are and recognize that I'm now going to take control, a lot of that stuff and everybody else, it will get weight lifted off of your shoulders and you can truly act as who you want to be. I don't know why I keep doing these things. You see all my thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what it is. But yeah, being able to identify that and understand who you are and create your own narrative so people can understand who you are. You put in their mouths what you want them to know about you. Don't let it be the other way around. I was victim to that. And it cost me a whole lot of years of just playing nice. And I'm like, I'm not going to play nice anymore. I know who I am and I'm going to walk in it and I'm going to show up in it. And now when people see what I do for iRock, they're just like shocked. I'm like, I don't need to lead a second line leadership. I don't need to do that because I can build a whole company from the ground up.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think, I think embracing that authenticity is so important, but it's a big struggle for so many people. So
and
many.
Don't dictate your career trajectory. Don't let them, because they'll say, "Oh, well, because she can do this or she can't do that. She can. I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to follow your roadmap. I can create my own roadmap."
That's right.
And that's what we do as coaches. That's what we help you do, is understand that.
Absolutely. Like when you go to an interview and they'd be like, I know you applied for this job, but we were thinking you more better fit for this job. Say what now?
And it's so wonderful. And especially when they say you're, overqualified for this, but we got a higher role for you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what happened to one of my clients. She went in looking at thinking she was going to do that. And they're like, oh, no, but we need you for the higher role, and gave her the higher role. Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here today. I know you are very, 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 very busy.
I'm always on the run. Like I said, I went from my company headquarters out there in the foyer to the iRock headquarters, and I be running. Yes.
Love it, love it, love it. So tell the people how they can connect with you, if you have anything that you want to offer them, or where they can find you. Feel free to do that now.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I also want to thank you for handing over the reins of the Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches, which I've added to it. I had some big shoes to fill. I'm still trying to fill them. So I got a couple of inches more. Anyway, I'm still working on it. But I'm honored to be able to lead such a robust group of resume writers and coaches. And it's been a joy for me to step in your shoes and carry that on because it's so much needed. And I enjoy sharing all my learnings of my almost 10 years now being in business and sharing, so to help them grow. And so I want to thank you so much for that opportunity, because again, we could start laughing about how I was working and you dropped that bomb on me. What you I'm a fearless leader, but I'm so thankful that you pivoted your career, and you're doing so well because you are the brand strategist. And I love the fact that, or what you're doing and helping us as women to take that next. Thank you, Latricia. Taking us as African American women to that next level, because we need it, and we need to find our voice and don't be scared to share it. Even if you get somebody to tell you, keep your voice in the room, because we all look alike. Okay, anyway, so that's another thing. But yeah, and then people can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I hang out the most. LinkedIn, connect with me there. Follow my page at iRock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as iRock Resumes. And I don't really have any like call to action outside of following me, because I'm in the process of redoing a whole revamping of what I'm doing. That's going to be very exciting, that I'm going to be starting to talk about in May. But if you go to my website, iRockResumes.com, and sign up for my email list, you will be able to hear about it sooner. So I don't want to offer something that's old. I have something new coming up. So I'm excited. So it's like, we're in the process of working on it, and I'm doing it in honor of my 10-year anniversary, revamping everything to be more coach focused, with having a career branding documents, because I'll never, me, I love writing. So I'm always be writing resumes. I love it. So I'm doing.
You can have it now. You can have
it. I know. You was like, no, you gone, Nickquolette. Thank you for
you have all that. You have all that. And just a little bit of background in case folks listening don't know what the heck we're talking about. I started a membership group, Society of Elite Resume Writers, back in 2020, and I grew it to about 200 or so, 300 or so resume writers. And, I was coaching them and teaching them how to write resumes at a higher level. And I was helping them to build their business and things like that. And I decided I wanted to get out of the business towards the end of 2023. I wanted out of the entire resume world. And I was like, well, what's going to be with the group? I don't want to just abandon them and leave them hanging. And I was looking for someone to kind of take over. And Nickquolette was the perfect person. So I reached out. She did not hesitate. She was excited. And I am glad that we have someone very capable to really continue this work that I started, to build this industry, to help the newbies, to really create a whole set of very high performing resume experts. And that was my vision. So I appreciate you, Nickquolette. Just wanted to clarify that, because I don't think
they're like, what is she talking about, right? So you'll forever be our founder. You're in our history books, and I'm so thankful that the group accepted me. They were excited, and so we're doing a lot of great things. So if you are a resume writer out there or a career coach looking to have community, the group on Facebook is robust. Y'all need to join it. There's conversation going on in there. It's always so helpful. So feel free to join that. So I should have mentioned that too. Join the Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches on Facebook. And we're also on LinkedIn, as you could look up Elite Resume Writers, and you'll see us pop up as Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. This is great for me. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you having me. I really do.
Absolutely. Anytime. You come back anytime.
Okay.
Really good.
Thank you, girl.
All right, y'all. So I'll see y'all next time. Happy self-marketing.